are back live on this Halloween 2023. Eddie Trunk talking rock with you every day here on Faction Talk 103 and the SiriusXM app. Live in the 3 to 5 Eastern window. Full shows, interviews, anything you want to get caught up on, always available on demand on the SiriusXM app. So, of course, yesterday we had a big moment here where we premiered the brand new song from Mick Mars, long awaited, called Loyal to the Lie, from his coming album. And as promised, today we are welcoming Mick for an interview, and he joins us live right now. How are you, Mick?
I'm great. How are you?
I am great. Congratulations. Thank you for letting me break the new song yesterday. Of course, it's out everywhere right now, including the great video for it, which we'll discuss. How does it feel for you after all of this time to finally have this song, at least a song, out there?
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you, I had a few stumbling blocks, here and there, and like brain locks and all sorts of stuff. But, I did take my time on it, of course, because I wanted it to be what I'm hearing in my head. It sounds weird, but sometimes it just does that. I go, But you know what? It's awesome to have it, and I'm so happy that you premiered it for me. That is the best thing ever.
Well, that's very kind of you. I told people you and I talked a long time ago, and you had mentioned it, and I said, Mick is absolutely a man of his word. And I think back, Mick, to what it took to get to yesterday playing it, and even today with the official release, because you had a few moments over the years where you reached out to me and you were about to release something, and then it kind of came to a halt. So what were the biggest stumbling blocks to get to this point where it was like start, stop, or there was a point you even put some clips out on YouTube at one point. So tell me about the whole odyssey to get to where we are now.
A lot of the songs, when I was writing them, I listen back and I go, it's a little too weak for Mars, And then, I mean, my commitments to my band and, touring and stuff, that absolutely came first for me. Dedication, to my band and doing that first and putting my stuff on the back burner at the time. When I had time, then I would work on it. So, that's about, a few, that's what I mean. It's like a few things, like, always, get in your way, not in that sense of getting in the way, but, you have priorities that you got to prioritize, and do that stuff, first. Then
when did the idea? Obviously, you were still very much in Motley Crue when all of this was being planned, and you were thinking about doing your own record. But how far back did you first get the desire to want to make a record of your own? Like, was this something like even as long as this took to make? Were you thinking about it even prior to that? Was there a certain point in your life or your career, or your time with Motley, where you said, I want to put out a record and show my own thing as well?
I've always thought it. I never really went up to the band and go like, well, I'm going to do this, And, it was kind of like, my like I said, my priorities first. But I've like thought about doing it like for years and years and years. Even in the 90s and early 90s, I go like, I'm going to do, a solo thing, but never really got a chance to really dig into it, and that's about it. I've always been. What? I can go back and say, when I was 14 years old, sitting on the end of my bed, playing a guitar with no pickups on, and thinking that as well. I said that. I went like, one of these days I'm going to have a band, and all the music that I write will be on TV, movies, radio, this. I've said it for a long time, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a weird kid when I was a kid.
Well, Mick, I remember in a past interview, I asked you once, like, how the closest you ever came to leaving Motley Crue, because of course Tommy left at one point, Vince left at one point, we know all that. And I remember I asked you, it might have been on the old TV show, I don't remember where, did you ever come close to leaving? And the answer you gave me was yes, around the time of Generation Swine. So were you thinking even back then, hey, maybe this is time for you to go and do something solo?
You know, that era right there, the Generation Swine was a bit difficult for me, and it was difficult for me because the band was really trying to reinvent itself when it really didn't, because we weren't. It was really hard for me to come up with stuff that. Well, the producer of that record, to make it short, that sounds too much like a guitar, and I won't. It is a guitar, you know. But that one was a little rough on me, you know. But we got through it, you know. It's like we're supposed to do, you know, like as a band, you know. And yeah, that was that. But yeah, I mean, it was hard, and. Yeah, a lot of stress.
The material on this record, The Other Side of Mars, first of all, do you have a release date for the actual full record yet?
February 27th, if I got it right. But I think it's like February 27th. Is that the last date?
Okay.
Yeah, I think around there. I just got one from a letter from my management. Well, Serena did, my wife. And